Hi everyone. So today we're going to be looking at how to find the surface area of a sphere. Okay, spheres are a little bit different than some of the other shapes that we've looked at. They're not really similar to the prisms, pyramids, cones, and cylinders that we've looked at. So let's talk a little bit about spheres first before we actually look at the formula. So spheres are a set of points in space that are equal distance from a given point that's called the center of the sphere. Basically, all these little points that make up a sphere are all the same distance from the center of the sphere. Okay? Half of a sphere is called a hemisphere. I'm sure you've probably heard that word before. For instance, in the United States, we live in the northern hemisphere, and then Australia, for instance, is in the southern hemisphere. And they have opposite climates than we do, because we're on the top half of the earth and they're on the bottom half of the earth. All right, a great circle is a circle on the sphere that divides the sphere into two hemispheres. It divides it right in the middle, so it's the biggest circle that can fit on the outside of that sphere. You can see it's there in red. Since a sphere has no bases at all, no flat surfaces, since it's so round, there is no such thing as lateral surface area. Because remember, we had lateral and total surface area before, but since there are no bases, we only have total surface area. And the total surface area formula is 4 pi r squared. So the only thing we need to know is what is the radius of that sphere. Okay. So let's look at an example of finding the surface area of a sphere. Here it is. We're going to find it in terms of pi first, and then we're going to find out what it is as a decimal. So first, you should always really write out your formula. It's really, really helpful to do that because otherwise you may plug in the wrong thing. You may get confused. So let's look at our formula again. The total surface area is 4 pi r squared. So now we need to plug in the radius, but they did not give us the radius. This is actually the diameter. The radius is half of the diameter. So we need to cut that 50 in half. So to get the radius, it is the diameter divided by 2. So 50 divided by 2 is 25. So our radius is 25 units. So now we're going to plug in 25. So 4 pi times 25 squared. If we forget the squared, it's going to throw off our entire answer. So we need to find out what 25 squared is. Now, unlike smaller numbers, I don't always know what 25 squared is in my head. So I'm going to pull out my calculator. 25 squared, most calculators have a button of some kind that's a squared button like this one right here. So 25 squared is 625. And then we're going to multiply that with the 4 in the front. Remember, we're leaving pi alone because we're going to get our answer in terms of pi. So 625 times 4 is 2,500, and then the pi will go at the end. And our unit is centimeters squared. So that is our answer in terms of pi, 2,500 pi centimeters squared. Now, if I want to find out what that is as a decimal, then I'm going to take 2,500, which is already in my calculator, and I'm going to multiply it by pi. And then hit equals, and our answer as a decimal would be 7,853.982 if we're rounding to the thousandths place, and the unit is centimeters squared. So lucky for us, the formula is very simple for a sphere. There's only one thing you need to know, radius. Just keep in mind, sometimes they might give you the diameter, and you'll have to take half to find that radius before you plug it in to the formula. If you have any questions, make sure to leave them in the comments. And thanks for visiting me today. Have a great day.